If they wanted to escape, they had to give their plan to the escape committee to make sure that it was a sensible thing to start out with. And if it wasn't, if they thought it could be made sensible, they helped them. And if they thought it was a good idea, then they would give them things that they thought they would need. But if it was just a guy that thought he'd get out, run around, have a good time, forget it. They finally decided that we're going to dig a tunnel. This tunnel, that was a big one. Well, to start out with, we had meetings as to who was going to do the digging and who was going to do this and who was going to do that. And we had some people that were engineers that knew a little better, and they had to figure what they had to have to do it. So then they started collecting all these things. Then they started to figure out, now, where are we going to start the tunnel? They finally figured that in our barracks, where they had the place to wash your hands and everything in the middle, they had a place to heat water, and it was built up with brick up this far. There was a metal thing that went in there that you could put water in, started fire underneath it. Well, they figured they could go down there. They could go straight down, dig out about 12 feet, and then start out towards the wire. And we went out about 90 feet, past the wire. But what are you going to do with the dirt? They made these bags. Well, they look like legs, you know, and they put dirt in them, and you could tie them around your waist, and they fit inside of your pants, you know, and it had a string on it. And we go out, and when they were playing football or anything like that, we pull the string and we walk around, and the dirt would fall out, and they'd be kicking it around. Pretty soon you didn't know it was gone. I think the field when we got finished was about that much higher than before. But we got rid of the dirt all right. I did some of that. And then they decided the Red Cross parcels were good. So they put dirt in them. At night, after lights out, then the guys would bring them back up from out of the tunnel, and we put them up on the rafters above our bed, you know, till the stuff is starting to come down like this. They used, we called them clim cans, the milk cans. They were these powdered milk cans, and they'd take the powdered milk out, and then they could dig with these. And then they took these bed slats and started piling them this way and across the top to keep it staying up so you could go through. I was down to 2 bed slats. And then they made tracks with a wood thing and little wheels so that you lie on it as you're going into this tunnel, because you couldn't walk in. It was only like this. I never went down in the tunnel because I have claustrophobia and I couldn't go in it. And they did finally get it open. And then we got word through the BBC that because of Left 3 had done one, and they caught him, and Hitler said anybody caught was going to get killed. So then they called it off because this was January of 45, and they figured the war was about over then, so you didn't have to, they didn't think it was necessary, it wasn't sensible.
It wasn't worth the risk.
That's right. But it was good. It kept a lot of people busy. But one of the funniest things I remember was that something, I don't know how the Germans figured it out, but they figured something was going on, so they called a surprise roll call. And we had 2 people down the tunnel. So they covered them up. But when we were out there, we had lines, you know, and the back line, that was too short. See, they knew where they started at that end and came down, so we put 2 people up there, and then as soon as they counted them there, they ran down the back, and they counted them again, you know, but then we had all we needed, so they never figured out that there was anybody in the tunnel. Well, they never did find the tunnel. You know, it was pretty fancy when you didn't have much to go with. So it took quite a while. There was a lot of people involved. There was a lot of smart people there. It was amazing how many, when they put it all over, that were something, whether they were guarding or looking or protecting or, yeah, we probably had, there were about 1,700 at the end in the camp. So during the time that they were digging that thing, there was probably anywhere 300 or 400 involved in one thing or another, you know. Oh, you had plenty of time. You didn't complain.